Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the Master of None podcast. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Murphy, joined by one of the regular rugby crew, which is Westy, and a special guest on this glorious Wednesday. We finally got him after months of annoying him to join the podcast. We are finally joined by Abraham Papali'i. Abe, how are you? Thanks for joining.
All good. No, cheers. Thanks for having me on. It's I know it's been a while since I think we were neighbors. I think you mentioned it, and I just kind of but
we did. My claim to fame was that we did live in the same apartment block for about a couple of months, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I remember the first interaction was seeing you get out of your Opel Astra, which is a small little car, and this absolute behemoth of a man gets out of it, and I was like, "Oh, that's Abraham Papali'i." So but then, I mentioned it then, and since then it's been a work in progress. But we're here, so thanks very much for joining. First of all, how are you? How's you been back a few days now from England? So how's life been?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Nat. So back into actually haven't seen all the boys yet. It was their day off today, but I went in today, get a little spin. Obviously, I think everyone knows that our game last week for Samoa against Barbarians was cancelled due to COVID. So, man, haven't been moving since Friday. So I just needed to kind of get a stretch and get a bike and go sauna and things like that. So get my body ready for tomorrow. Back into training. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Nice. Before we get into it, Westy, sorry, I totally ignored you. How are you, Westy?
So I would ignore me too if Ram was the shadow. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, not too bad.
Westy's very excited for this, as we all are. So we'll get stuck into it. Abe, as you said, you recently went to Samoa, so I think we'll start with that. Obviously an incredible moment in your life, but obviously probably a heartbreaking one to finish it off. But can we start, first of all, how did that opportunity come about?
Yeah, so it actually started like a few months before the international break happened, because Samoa was due to play a few games in that break, and then they had to cancel their tour because of COVID. The coaches and other players couldn't get over, so I was due to be involved with that. And then, but the only game that was confirmed was the Barbarians game. So I was lucky enough to get called in. It took a while to get released to play for Samoa, but eventually I did. I got found out on Friday, and then my ticket was booked on Saturday, and I flew out on Sunday. So it was a bit of a last minute thing. I think we just had a bit of injuries in the back row, but everyone's fit now, and I was lucky enough that Friendly let me go, and it was an amazing week, special week, something I've never it was very unique, like in just being around, your own countrymen, speaking your own language, and just pretty much just cheering every time for everything. It was, Islanders are pretty loose, just always laughing and cheering, and it was disappointing eventually not being able to cap off a good week. I guess, like, didn't know what we were going to expect from, like, Barbarians obviously going out on the piss like all week, as their culture is, and then obviously they were definitely going to get something, but it was sad for the guys that were like me. They were due to play their first game, but also sad for the guys who wanted to finish their careers and play their last game for Samoa.
Was it, do you feel annoyed then at the Barbarians, as you said, like, the culture obviously going out a few nights before, but obviously in this day and age, it's a bit irresponsible in some area. Were you frustrated at that side of things?
Yeah, definitely. Frustrated because last year was the same thing. It got called off. So you think they would have learnt their lesson, kind of, obviously go out and have a few drinks, and then, but in a controlled environment. Like, I don't know if they were out in public or things like that, but they ended up getting, all those COVID cases, and then scrambling to find players in the last minute just for the game to go ahead. But I guess it just wasn't meant to be. I think, what it meant to us, to me, and all the rest of the boys, Samoan boys, was much more than, like, obviously everyone saw it as a exhibition game, just a little run out, but it was more than that. So we were still able to go out and sing our national anthem and go out and do our haka, our sivatau is what we call it. And then just run around the pitch and do it again for the fans that showed up to support us. Yeah, such a proud moment for me and my wife and my family to be able to represent my family and, you know, put on that jersey. I was really looking forward to it. You know, over the years, you know, I never would have thought, you know, you grow up in New Zealand, you think, oh, just you want to play for the All Blacks. And then when that doesn't happen, it's like, you know, Samoa's there and like, you'll be like Samoa quality players as well. So like, you know, you just, if you're lucky enough to get called into that, then, you know, it's a dream come true. So yeah, that was awesome.
You mentioned already that it was tough to get released. Did you have many difficult conversations with Friendy, or how did that kind of dynamic play out?
No, it was actually, I mentioned it earlier, but then eventually it was up to, I don't know, I think it was, yeah, he was just weary of what, because it was still too early to make a call, because obviously with injuries and stuff, you never know what's going to happen in the squad. And I think one of the boys got injured before the break, so they kind of just had to see, but he was able to come back last week. But then eventually something else happened, so that was all good. His friend, he was really supportive, and I'm glad that he eventually got to release me for the game. Yeah.
I know I don't want to keep harking on because obviously it was a very disappointing day, but can you talk us through the build up to the match? You put up some great videos on Instagram, you know, the jersey presentation, the announcement of you kind of, you know, getting that jersey, you know, the build up to the match in the dressing room. Can you just talk to us about like what it meant to you, how you know, how that kind of unraveled as the game approached?
Yeah, so like I said, like probably a very unique environment, and just being like, you know, being around just a lot of Samoans again, and it just felt like home, and just like your own family, kind of just, and it was real special, you know, like that jersey presentations, few tears and from the lads, and just real emotional, because, you know, they you go around after you get your jersey, and then you just explain how much it means to you, and yeah, a few boys couldn't even talk because they were crying, and for myself, I just, you know, I just said how grateful I was, and just thanked the players around me just for an awesome week, because it was a special week, you know, like our build up. It wasn't the easiest build up. It was kind of because there was only players that were based in the Northern Hemisphere, and they actually got a couple from down in Australia and I think Japan as well to fly over for the game. So yeah, once we did, like from day one, we all gelled. So that's why what made things much easier as well. Just getting along from day one, and just being able to just open up, talk, and just, yeah. Yeah, it's very special, because and then afterwards, after the jersey presentation, they put up messages from your family back home, and that's yeah, that was, like I said, very emotional, and yeah, it just brings, like, my thoughts are just thinking back to all the sacrifices, you know, that my parents have made throughout my career. You know, wasn't easy, like everyone, humble beginnings, and, you know, but my parents always made sure we were, you know, we had food to eat, and, you know, even if they had to work 2 jobs and things like that. But yeah, I'm so grateful. And, you know, my wife here now, coming over from leaving her family back home and being with me over here in Ireland, it's not easy, but, like, you know, when you make teams and like that, and it puts things into perspective, just a bit of reward, you know, coming out of just all the sacrifice. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
When did you find out about the game being cancelled? Like, how did it break? Who broke the news?
Yeah, so that was actually sad, really sad, because we were there in the change rooms prepping before the warm-up, so putting the shorts on and then getting strapped. But and that's when the manager walks in, and, you know, you could imagine, like, when she told us that it was cancelled, like, you go from a high and then all of a sudden you hear the news and you're just staring at the ground, and you're just like, oh, yeah, it's really sad. Yeah.
We don't want to harp on too much about the Samoa stuff, but obviously the news broke recently during a week about the law change with residency, and obviously Dan Leo has been pushing for that for a while, and with the idea was to strengthen the Pacific Island nations. Do you see that changing a lot within the Samoa structure, or do you see that the process of selection changing much over the next few years?
Yeah, definitely. I think, man, it's awesome. I think they should have, changed that rule years ago. I mean, guys who have kept it for All Blacks once and then all of a sudden not getting a look, and why can't they be able to play for, for their, for another country? So I think it's awesome because you have also like players, unreal players who've moved over from and who are now based here and would love to play international rugby. And hopefully not. Hopefully, I'll still be. I'll get a call up when the time comes. But in the meantime, I know there's going to be much more competition now, and all I can control is just how I play, how I train, and how I prepare, and hopefully get another shot.
Yeah, we obviously hope that we'll see you get to wear that jersey in a game at some point.
Absolutely.
Cheers, man.
Last thing on the small thing, a bit of a brighter note. I noticed in a couple of pictures you had a necklace of what looks like celebrations or heroes chocolates. I don't know if your wife gave to you. What was the backstory with that?
So in Samoan tradition, like when things like, say, if you're at school and you get a reward, it's like special. Just like you're coming down from your award, even at school in New Zealand, like your family comes up and they put a necklace of like lollies around you. It's just to show the appreciation and just like more like decoration. But yeah, that's what it means. Like just a sign of celebration. And obviously my wife wanted to present it to me after the game when I came up to her and gave her a kiss and things, and she wanted to present it to me then, but yeah, it wasn't meant to be. So at least we got to run around the pitch and do our siva tau and do our anthem, and then yeah, she put it on me then, and yeah, thankful for that. It was good.
Yeah, that very powerful stuff. The videos of the anthem and as you said, the haka. So, but we'll move on to Connacht stuff now. Obviously, when you signed with Connacht, did you have much prior knowledge of Ireland and Galway?
No, I had no clue. I had no clue about Connacht. I've heard of the only team I think I heard of before I came over was Munster, and that's only because I had a mate who played at Munster and he was Samoan as well. This is a while ago now. So yeah, I didn't know it was going to be. I think the biggest thing was the weather. The weather was shot. I knew it was going to be cold, but I didn't think it was going to be that cold and wet and miserable.
Did they lie to you? Did they say that were they like, it's actually not that bad, and then when you got here it was terrible, or were they honest? Were they honest and upfront?
They were honest, and it was funny enough because we arrived into Ireland, and then the first couple of weeks when we did our quarantine, it was amazing. The sun was out. Sun was out for the 2 weeks straight, and then I started training, and then slowly as the days went by, I just could see how come it's raining all the time.
It never ends.
It never ends. Oh my gosh.
I'd say a small part of you was happy not to be involved on Friday night. I think we considered moving away at some point, didn't we, Steve?
Oh yeah, it was desperate.
Yeah, I heard there was tough conditions. Did you see Jack's kick? And
yeah,
oh wow.
You were playing in New Zealand for Bay of Plenty in the Mitre 10. At the time, were you planning on moving up into Super Rugby? You mentioned earlier about thinking about playing for the All Blacks. Had you ever had any conversations about signing for one of the provincial sides in the Super Rugby?
Oh no. I was actually just it's before Bay of Plenty. I was actually playing local men's comp, like say Galwegian men's, and that was actually the back end of just my career, my league career. I was getting injured, and I kind of wanted to just. It was 2 years ago, yeah, and oh, we're getting married. So I proposed to my wife now, and then I just figured, man, I need some money. I want to work properly, and I want to just make some money and save. And if the career doesn't work out, if rugby doesn't work out, that's fine by me. So, yeah, I was just playing local men's comp for like every Saturday. Probably I played 5 games for that team. I was the captain for the team. They're called Waitemata Rugby. Oh no, sorry, Waitakere Rugby. Oh, that's bad. And so yeah, I played like 5 games, and then I got a call from my good mate down in Tauranga. So that's where the Bay of Plenty, the Steamers, are based. Yeah, if I wanted to go down and trial for the Mata 10 team, and I played 2 club games down there, and then they signed me for 2 years. So, and that's how it all began. Just getting back into the professional scene, because obviously coming from league, it's not, you don't really have to remember many plays like line out calls and things like that. You just run hard, tackle hard, and it's a simple game. So.
Simple game when you're your size, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely a lot more simple. When you signed in for did anyone tell you anything to, any preconceived ideas of what you were joining, or did they warn you about anything, or any stereotypes that you came across before you moved here?
No, I think I did a Google search, and I was just like, I looked at Google Maps and things to do in Galway. It's like it seemed. So after high school, I was with the Cardiff Blues, and I was in Wales. So the picture in my head was thinking, okay, it's going to be like castles and old things and
Game of Thrones, basically.
Game of Thrones. So I just pictured the same thing, just like, a bit old and and dated stuff. But no, yeah, I didn't. Bundy gave me a call before signing, coming over just when I was in the thinking process, and just wanted to speak to me about, he just have a good chat about, he just told me if, what am I thinking, and if I come, then, it'll be really good for the team and things like that.
How important has he been in your, in the first 2 years of living here? How important has Bundy been?
Oh man, he's been massive for me. Just like, just helping me out and just when I first arrived and things, getting to know the place and showing me around. And it's easy when you're the king of Galway, and everywhere we went, man, it's just like, oh, Bundy, and then eventually you're gonna be like a little security guard for him, just looking around. Everyone's just staring, and yeah, especially when you're out in busy places, people are just wanting to, can I get a photo and things like that. But so yeah, Bundy's been really like massive, like helpful, and him and his little family. Just when my wife wasn't here the last season, I was by myself, so I was going over for dinner and dropped me off some food and things like that. Just so yeah, it's been good to it was good to have him around and still have him around now.
It must have been a strange one arriving like 2 years ago, kind of just at the end of the first lockdown of the pandemic. Like, did you find it hard to like find your way around Galway because you're out nowhere and more? And like, did you find it hard to get to know other members of the team besides Bundy and the lads?
Yeah, so no, when I first came, I was living in Knocknacarra.
Okay.
So down near Black Rock, just around the corner. So during our quarantine, we're allowed to go out and go for little walks. And just to go along the water there was beautiful. So I was thinking, oh, this is what Galway life's going to be like, like sunny. And yeah, but I was in for a surprise. But yeah, the boys, when I first came in to meet the team, man, just been so welcoming. And just Irish people in general as well, just going around like genuinely nice too. They'll go out of their way to help you and things like that. And you just really get a good vibe just anyway, whoever you talk to in Ireland. So yeah.
Your wife Amanda's obviously, as you said, joined you now. How is she adapting to Galway life? How is she liking being over here?
Yeah, she's enjoying it. She hasn't been here during the winter time, so I told her be ready.
That could be a shock to the system, all right.
But it's good, like, just being here together and just living our lives together here. Obviously, all our families back home, but to have each other, it's good. And yeah, she's really enjoying it. She's got Kayla as well, Bundy's wife, just around the corner. So, they catch up every now and then. So yeah, it's good. She's enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stephen's making me ask you. He's making me mention the couple of red cards that gave you away last year.
Oh man, I've been expecting it. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I conveniently didn't ask that one. Go ahead, there.
Those are the money questions, eh? That's the money. That's what the people want to hear.
This is the clip I'm posting on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, so give us a good answer here.
Do you think coming from league had an impact on that, or were you just really eager to smash people?
Yeah, so I as I changed from rugby league to union, even at local men's comp, I didn't change my tackle tech. No one told me to change it. I think I never had problems with it. I was hitting guys high, not high, like like maybe chest, and just holding them up, or yeah, I wasn't a fan of the chop tackle because I, never practiced it during league times. In league, you have to tackle, protect the ball, like try and stop them from offloading. I mean, if you chop in league and no one's at the top, it's a quick play the ball, and then you're on the back foot on the feet on defense. So yeah, switching to union, I never changed it. So the only time I ran into problems was when I moved over. I don't know if that's goes to say. I think it's our game's going in the. I wouldn't say it's getting soft. I think it's going in the right direction in terms of protecting players. And I understand that, I need to do a lot of work now that I've gotten three red cards already. So the first one, yeah.
First one doesn't count. It was on Conor. It was on Conor Murray, so we're going to allow that one. That's fine.
That's bad.
You got to introduce yourself in an interpro. You know what I mean? So we're only two. We're only counting two.
Yeah. So the first one, that was bad, and man, it had to be the first game, right? And 25 minutes in, so I think I got 5 weeks for that, and came back, and then I think the second one, a bit of unlucky there with the head clash. Yeah, hopefully your man's all right, because he didn't get back up. He was on the stretcher after that. So, and then the third one, I think that was probably the worst one. I just got a bit emotional. I think in that game we were on the back foot, and it was against, was it Zebra or was it Treviso?
I don't know.
Yeah,
the second one was Zebra, was it?
It was in Italy, so it was one of those teams. So
yeah,
I just got a bit. Yeah, I lost my head a bit, and then I got the guy a bit high, but he was taller than me, so I don't know how I was supposed to get him. So yeah, I've been putting in a lot of work. Had to write out a tackle plan and doing extras all the time now, just making sure that it doesn't become a problem in the future.
Yeah, we're like, obviously we Westy brought it up, very rude of you, Westy, to bring it up, but no, you're very good you have a great attitude towards it. Like, you had your hashtag free the USO on Instagram, which I enjoyed very much. But you make light of it, but then also you have been putting a lot of hard work. Friendly's been very complimentary in press conferences about your hard work on the tackle, changing that technique. Can you talk us through like how tough it is to change that technique? Like it takes a lot of time, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I think there was only one thing, not one thing, sorry. It was there was one main thing that I kept doing was I kept hitting and then riding up with my tackle instead of hitting and then just driving down, keeping the leg drive into them towards the ground. So I get in trouble when I'm trying to hit and then I drive up. So yeah, I've just been working with this thing. It's called a sausage bag. It's like, the massive tackle bags, but just half the size. So I just get my knee in, knee close, and just get down, get low, and I do reps on that every week. So I'm just changing the habit. It hasn't been too hard now that all I've been seeing is the sausage bag, and then now at trainings I just picture everyone's knees as the sausage bag. I'm just But I think, it's just when I get in trouble is just when I get a bit too emotional and get a bit angry, which I shouldn't. I should just save that for when I'm running the ball instead of on defense, because I've had too many offenses now. I need to, it's either learn how to tackle properly or just hang up the boots. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned hitting the little smaller sausage bag as one of the drills. Is there anything else that you did to kind of change it, or was there any other? Did you work specifically with one of the coaches to fix that, or was it just your own doing, pick up the bag and hit it?
So Cully Tucker, our new our defense coach, me and him. He's he's been on my back just about the whole the sausage bag. And when we first started, he actually got out a pole. And he put it in front of the tackle bag, and I always had to dip underneath the pole to make my tackles, which was good. And if I obviously if I tackle too high, I'll hit the pole. Yeah, so Cully has been really helpful.
Very high tech rugby, a pole and a bag. You know what I mean? That's all it takes, though.
Yeah,
that's
it's simple.
All it takes. We've said here before in the podcast, players can get labeled, red card merchants and whatnot, and we've seen it before with other players. Do you feel like now that you have that label when it comes to referees?
Yeah, I think a good example was not just the referees, but everyone in general. I think was the Ulster game last season when they tried to call back they tried to review a tackle, which was actually but it showed it was a legal tackle. It was just, I don't know what it was, but they used their referees call, or what does he call it, captain's challenge? Just to challenge that one tackle. So from then on, I just knew that I was going to be a target. And there's one ref specifically. I'm not going to name him, but I think. I don't know if he's out to get me or not.
That's the juicy stuff we want, Abe. Give us the names. We want names. No, I'm only messing, of course.
No, they're all good. No.
They're all good. Oh, good.
You've mentioned before about having to trim down and stuff when you got to go away. Is there any real motivation behind that, or anything that you had to change specifically?
I think because I came in from New Zealand lockdown into quarantine, so there wasn't much running I was doing, and just my body type in general, being an Islander, we don't lose weight easily. I'd love the other problem that some of the boys talk about. They're like, yeah, it's hard for me to put weight on, and I'm just looking at them like, man, take some of mine. So it's just a bit of when I got on my day one at Connacht, I was 128 kgs. I was a bit too big to be able to get around. So I trimmed down. I think I got to 120. And then for the season, I was floating around 122, 23, which I was happy with. For me, I know what I need to do just to kind of be able to be mobile enough to get around the park and play. Just the style of rugby obviously has changed now. Like last season, to our game plan now, it's a lot different, and I need to be able to move a lot more than I had to last season. Yeah.
You're currently listed as on the Connacht website 122 kgs. My next question was going to be, how hard is it to maintain that weight? But it seems to be not that. You were saying just because of your body type, it seems to be not that hard. Like, how many calories would you be on a day? Eating that much might sound appealing to some people, but I'm sure it has its downsides as well. Like, can you talk us through that, like your day-to-day calorie intake?
So I actually try to have say oats in the morning. Say if it's a normal training day, I have some oats, and then we have these hot pots we get provided by Tribe. I think it's called Tribe. And they have been very interesting hot pots. So I've only so during training I don't really eat much. I don't have an appetite for some reason. So I probably take 2 bites out of a massive hot pot, which is a massive lunch, and then I'd save it for later. And then I'd say that's not even much. So I'm starving by the time I get home. I just have fruit at training, and then when I get home, I just have standard dinner, like steak and rice or chicken and rice, and yeah, and nothing much. There's nothing much to it. I'm not really big on protein shakes and things like that, or taking vitamins and stuff. I just kind of, just so 3 meals a day if I can. But during training days, my biggest meal will be dinner. So I think that's if I had 3 full-on meals, I think the weight would probably be 130 right now, because my body type is, like I said, just it's a bit shocking. I don't know if it's my body type now or just my age these days.
You're the same age as me, Abe. Don't be saying that, man. Westy's older.
Yeah, I think as the older I've gotten, the harder, the more stubborn the weight that I've gotten. It's a bit frustrating. But it's good. I get to go into training and just burn off what I need to, and do some extras if I have to. But yeah, I'd say it's a fairly just standard eating plan. Nothing. Yeah.
Speaking of trimming, you were rocking a pretty cool top knot there for a while. How did they convince you to cut it off, and is there any way you could have avoided it?
I wanted to cut it off a long time ago. It was a bit it was annoying me, but my wife, she likes the look. She just says she always says, makes me look soft.
I don't know if that's,
like, what?
I don't think that's possible.
I don't want to look soft. Like, it was just before I cut my hair before the game, before the Bulls game, when I came back. That was my first game back this season. And it was amazing because I felt a bit lighter, and I felt like, the long hair is just a bit too much maintenance, like getting up, it's all over the place, and you gotta like make it look presentable. It's just sick of it. So I'm glad that I cut it, because now I just wake up, just brush it like this one side, and
like myself. Like myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Westy's our go-to hair guy on this podcast. We want to get your opinion on his locks. What do you think of those? Yeah.
That's very silky. It looks silky, man. Even on video. Is that? Do you condition in?
No, it's just natural. It's just how it goes.
Oh, that's man. Looks really silky. It's like the light's kind of shining off it. It's nice.
It's
and that's the lighting here in the attic. It comes in from the door of the roof.
He's a hair model. That's fantastic. I love that part of the podcast. Let's talk about actual rugby. We want to talk about the team and squad. There's a fantastic attitude and atmosphere, it seems, around the team right now. Teams playing well. I'm sure that helps. How much fun is it playing with Connacht right now?
Yeah, I've only played 2 out of the last 5 games, but like being in preseason and just building up to games now, it's completely it's different. I'd say to last season. Friendy's brought in this new thing called, like, just about our culture, just getting to know who the people who we represent in terms of Connacht. So we had a players social, and they got a few of the old heads to come in and speak to us about their experiences with Connacht before us, or back in the day, and just how how everyone kind of sees Connacht as that team that they look down on Connacht, and that was the story that Eric, he's the academy, the Eagles coach. He's always he told us that when he was there, the lads just they wanted to show up and prove everyone wrong, and so that was the kind of the mentality and the message we took, and just the theme that. And I think it was really helpful because, it just shows, if you know who you're representing when you put on that jersey, and just, what you're representing every week. You go out with the battling mentality, just you're ready to go to war. Whoever we're playing against, we're going to do our best. So it's been good, I reckon.
God, Friendy's the best, isn't he? It's just, God, you gotta love that guy.
It definitely appears to us that like the guys have a really good, like, this really fun environment. Really seem to enjoy the way that they're playing. Do you think that that feeds indirectly to the positive results?
Yes. So I think Pete Wilkins is our attack coach now, and he brought in a whole new game plan. Him and Mossy. So yeah, just a different style. Last season we were playing shape. This season he threw out shape and kind of just let us play what's in front. But it's just all about just staying bodies in motion, moving, being on the ball if this is on, taking it, and just forwards being in a position where they wouldn't usually be. Just allowing them to be in a backdoor position like a prop. Like you see Jack Ainger in the backdoor position where usually Jack Carty would be, like allowing things like that. And just, yeah, because as you know, like Connacht is, I'd say we don't have many big bodies that, you know, so I think the game plan works well because Connacht is a very fit team, you know, for the boys. And so we have a big back row, and then we have a fit back row. And when I'm called upon, I'll make sure that I'm ready for that to answer the call. But yeah, it's a shame. I didn't get picked for the other 3 games I didn't play, but that just shows the competition that I have. That's in the back row. Getting into the squad. So it's up to me to take up. If I get another opportunity after this to play, then just taking it with both hands and putting my best foot forward.
Do you think as one of the big back rows, you said, as a powerhouse forward, like how is playing in that expansive game plan impacted you? Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it, but like I said before, I have to move a lot more than I did last season. Just getting around the corner and things like that. You don't really have guys like last season hanging on the edge. It's like if the edge is not on, then you have to move in and move over here, and get around here. And so it's, I'd say, yeah, it's not for your big, it's not about gain line anymore for us. It's about speed, like fast. So I wouldn't say they don't care about big carries, but it's not a priority anymore as compared to last season. Like, yeah. So I think everyone's on an even playing field now. And yeah, just need to take your opportunity when it comes.
Deval Senecal joined obviously this season as the new forwards coach. How's your experience has been with him so far?
He's been good, really good for our team. He's actually a very interesting character. He came in with all these weird drills and just rubbing up on us. You could imagine what. Yeah, but so very interesting drills. But he's been really helpful in terms of he's got a lot of knowledge. He's really helped our more defense. I think last season was a bit of a problem, but this season he's just tweaked a few things and drilled it into us, and all the boys are bought in. Like, it's great being great buying by the boys, and just the willingness to kind of to work hard and make sure that we get things right, so we don't get pushed over.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, it's been way better this year. As you said, is it mainly technique that he's changed, or is it more grunt and aggression? Has it been? Which one has it been?
Yeah, I think the grunt and aggression has always been there. I think it was just technique. I think last season we're guilty of being a bit too high and things like that, and not really connected in our joint in our binds. And so this season we kind of just been drilling it preseason. That's just little micro drills that we've just been positioning in more time and finishing our lineouts and just things like that have been really helpful.
I think it's a kind of common theme in Connacht about the coaching system, and obviously Andy Friend comes up quite a lot. We had him on, and we were obviously big fans of him. He seems to be really big on player development. How have you found him as a coach to work with, and as a man in general?
Yeah, Friend is an amazing guy. He's when I first came over, he invited me over, me and Amanda over, and we had dinner with him and Kez, his wife, and just had a good chat and just been helpful. You know, when I was in quarantine, when I first arrived, he dropped me off his famous scones. So did he tell you on the podcast that he makes scones?
No, he didn't. We haven't got any scones.
He makes he makes delicious scones, and yeah, there was so yeah, that he's been really good, especially for me. Like last season, as you know, I came over on a 1-year deal, and just that process of just working hard to get re-signed. He's been real transparent with it. Just, you know, every week saying he needs to see more, and that kind of drove me to just perform. You know, a bit of pressure, but like, yeah, and he was honest enough to, you know, eventually at the end, he just said, you know, he's going to sign me on for another season. So I was happy with that. And obviously this season he's got a different role now. He's kind of like, he oversees everything. So he'll come in every now and then and say something towards the end of the meeting. But like, yeah, he's been really good for us.
So he's kind of, is he leaving it more to the attacking coach and defensive coach in terms of rugby day-to-days?
Yeah, I don't know what the name of his role is. Oh, obviously head coach, but so the
director of rugby, like that, is it?
So Tim is our director of rugby. So I think, yeah, last season he was a bit more involved with, you know, he was doing our restarts and things like that. But this season he's kind of just left it all to the coaches like Pete, Mossy, Cully, and Deervolt to, you know, and then, yeah, at the end he'll come in and say something. So
the boss, I think we'll just call him the boss. I think that's a fair. Yeah, I think
the boss,
boss man. As we said, everyone gets on well in the squad. But like, who would you get on personally the best with? Do you have little cliques, or, you know, especially a couple of lads?
No, I'd say I get along with everyone. It's actually funny. Probably, yeah, Tom Daly, Jared Butler, Bundy, obviously, Dennis Buckley, Masters, Owen Masters, Geordie Duggan. Yeah, I'd say all the boys kind of, it's good crack, you know, John Porch. So, yeah, your mate John Porch, you guys still play Warzone together?
We played for a bit, but I was just so bad that he just obviously just didn't want to play with me anymore, because
I say so.
He's really, really good, and I'm not. So I think I was very much dead weight to him. But yeah, we did play for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so, and yeah, Connor Oliver. Yeah, I'd say everyone like, and I don't think we don't have any cliques. Like everyone just, you know, gets along. Obviously, some of the boys, they live together in their own house. Like they have a group of them living, so they'll naturally be close. So yeah, I'd say we all get along and we're all close.
Do you play Warzone yourself, Abe? Do you dabble in the Call of Duty?
Yeah, I dabble. I don't play with, like you said, John Porch. He's too good now.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's a bit cocky. So as soon as you know you can't keep up, he kind of just left us, and we're like, hey, how come you don't invite us anymore? And then all of a sudden he says he's playing with his mates in Russia. So I was like, wow.
I play with his mate in Russia, Sam, his name. Nice guy.
Oh, there you go.
He's also really good too. And it's just
okay.
I'm glad though I'm not the only one who got, you know, kicked to the curb though. It makes me feel better. So at least he's doing it to you guys as well.
Yeah, so Connor Oliver and Connor Oliver and Porchy are probably they're the best Warzone players. So just trying to keep up with them we can't. So yeah, there's a few of us who we just jump on to, you know, kill some time and just have a bit of fun.
You mentioned a few minutes ago about last season working to get your contract renewed, and obviously we heard 2 weeks ago about Jack Carthy signing on for 3 years. Is there much chat amongst the players when it comes to contract renewals, and do you think that certain players staying or go and have much of an influence on whether players want to stay on?
Yeah, I think there's actually not much chat. I think some boys, you know, talk to each other like, but from what I've heard, you know, yeah, like they do it in waves. And so I'd say like they prioritize, you know, like the guys like Jack and just guys who, you really want to build a team around, and then everyone else they'll worry about later. So now but we don't openly talk about it like in change rooms as that. But I think to see Jack sign on is a good sign and a good thing for the club and for the boys as well. He's a really good guy, good player. Someone that you'd want to follow into battle. It's good.
Last question, kind of in Connacht. Obviously, Leinster this weekend. A big Interpro against Leinster. Is the mood in camp always a bit more pumped up before a big game like that?
Yeah, definitely. The boys, everyone's always like, it's massive when you play teams like just the Interpros. Leinster, Munster, and Ulster. Those games, you wouldn't find any shortage of everyone will be up for it. So it's exciting as well because Leinster just lost over the weekend, and I was in camp with in Samoan camp with Michael Alalator. He's over there now, and he says it's going to be an interesting Monday because he hasn't experienced the loss over there yet. So I think he'll definitely be involved this week. I told him, he was like trying to get some inside information about some players, and I was like, watch out for the big man, Finlay beast mode. He's like Finlay beast mode. He's an Irish player, and he's massive, and just pumping the tires for the boys, getting them ready. So he says he thinks that the Connacht's going to be excited, like licking their lips now that they're lost, and we've just smashed Ospreys. And but I told him, I go, no, this is a game that the boys will get up for, and looking forward to it. Yeah,
love it. Mental warfare, love it. We'll move on to the Q&A section, and as I said, I've never received so many questions, so we're not going to get to all of them, but thank you to everyone who did send them in. I had them all listed out, and then an hour before recording, your wife actually sent in a question. So I'll start with that one. Pretty simple. Abe, who's the boss at home? I think we all know the answer, probably, because like most relationships, but we want to hear you say
it. You already said it. There you go.
Doesn't need an answer. That question does not need an answer.
Yeah, no, I'll say it. She is the boss. There you go.
Yes.
She's the boss.
Wise answer. Very wise answer. A previous guest that we've had on the podcast, who will not mention, made a big claim towards you, Abe, during his interview, saying that you were charging academy players to cut their hair during lockdown. Is there any truth to that claim? Let
me just clear it up. No, I was not charging. So when I heard that, it was actually funny when he told me to listen. And I listened, and I was shocked. And I just want to clear that up now. No, I was not charging academy players. It's true, I was the barber for the team. I had a few shockers, I just needed, maybe two clients to kind of warm up, and then after that, it was just amazing. You couldn't tell the difference between, going to the barbershop and when I was cutting them. So,
do you have previous history cutting hair, or did you just start it for the first time?
No, I actually was cutting. Like I was growing up, I used to cut my brother's hair and things like that, and cousins and things. And so it's kind of. It's actually not as hard as people think. It's just once you get it's all in the wrist, I'd say.
Oh, very good, very good. That's good. It's good. You clear your name. You're an innocent man. So well done.
Thank you.
You've been here now for 18 months or so. One of our listeners asked. They said that you visited a few landmarks around Ireland. Is there anything that's impressed you particularly?
Yeah, so when on the weekends in pre-season we had off, me and my wife went around, Cork, and we went to Belfast, we went to Donegal, and we went down to Kerry. I'd say Cork, and then when we drove further to Kinsale, was probably the best. Just so beautiful down there, and just so good to get out and see the country, like Ireland, such a beautiful place, and the mountains and just the views. And just something so, like peaceful, and when you're out there, just and it was actually really nice having a pint of Guinness, everywhere we went to. It was, the Guinness is really good.
Is it better here than back home?
The Guinness?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually never had Guinness when I was back home.
Oh, okay.
Until I came to Ireland. I remember having it in Wales when I was a kid, like after school. I was only like 18, and it was shocking. I don't like it. Oh, when you're young, your taste buds haven't really developed. So I used to like the sugar drinks, Koppenberg and things like that. But
yeah, it's an acquired taste, I think, definitely. Brian Quinn on Twitter asks, who do you enjoy tackling the most in the Connacht camp, and who do you enjoy tackling the most outside the Connacht camp?
I'd say probably Jordan Duggan. I enjoy tackling him. He doesn't like to be tackled by me.
Who does?
Sometimes he, I'd say he gets a bit rattled. When he sees me, he drops the ball, and but it's good crack. Just get up and go. Don't worry, bud. You'll be all right. So. Outside of Connacht camp, actually, when I first came, I got we played against my first game against Munster before I got sent off. When I tackled CJ Stand, and I managed to rip the ball off him. There's actually a funny story, but I think I shouldn't elaborate on that.
You can tell us off air if you want.
CJ Stanley, I really highly respect that guy, like in terms of the way he plays, and just such a good number 8. And obviously he does it all. Tackle, jackal, and tough carrying and things. So yeah, it was good to be able to play against him. I think it was twice last season. And then get a signed jersey off him from an Irish jersey before he retired from, I think Finley told him that I was a fan, and then he got a signed jersey to me, so I was happy.
That's cool.
Aina asks, I'm going to say, apart from ripping the ball off CJ Stander, do you have a particular highlight in green so far?
Oh man, probably. I think that our win against Ulster, was it last season? Last season, I think it was Pete Sullivan who put it down at the end there, and then they had to review it. Yeah, I think that was
That was the Rainbow Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a highlight. I think just the feeling after that game was awesome. Just winning that game, and it's always good to beat Ulster. So
Kenny asks, have you tried curry cheese chips yet? And if not, why not?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Why not?
I just haven't. I'm not a fan of takeaways. You know what I mean? Try and stay lean, stay clean.
You should try them though. They're really good. Yeah. Good question, Kenny. Good question.
One of the friends of the podcast, Fiona, asks, who can lift more, you or Peter Robb?
Oh, Peter Robb. There's no, not even, I think 2 times me can still not outlift Peter Robb. He is a beast in the gym and off the gym and on the pitch. Sorry.
Anyone that would surprise you, like if you were outside, who lifts pretty impressively for someone that we wouldn't expect?
I'd say Alex Woodson.
Oh, really?
He's actually a very strong man. You'd say, he's a winger. He doesn't look like he's real lean, but like in the gym, he's lifting just as much as the forwards. He's a big man, like very strong, very strong.
Porty is self-claimed weakest. Is that accurate?
No. I think he's just being humble. He's strong. Okay. He's very strong. Okay. He loves squatting. That's his go-to. Okay. That's how he's so fast. Yeah. That's I'd say 200 kgs is that's a lot to squat for him. So yeah.
Nice. Instagram, we got some great ones. Priscilla Tuala, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my wife's little sister. Yep.
Oh, okay. She's actually asked the only real legitimate question we have. She's asked, what's the ultimate dream for your career?
Oh man. Well, it would have been to run out on Saturday for Samoa, but yeah, probably if I can make the World Cup, I think that's a target for me. The Samoa World Cup, yeah, that'll be awesome. I think I'd love to be involved. Obviously, with the new rule change, it's more competition, but got a couple of years now to just make sure I put my head down and work hard to, yeah, Samoa World Cup. Yep.
Thanks, Priscilla, for bringing a legitimate question to this podcast. Unlike Kenny, who's asking about curry cheese chips. So thank you, Priscilla. I appreciate that.
I mean, the trend of legitimate questions. Somebody who could describe himself only as Mr. Papali'i asks, I heard your older brother is bigger and faster than you. And is your older brother the wiser one?
I was actually, like, when you said he asked the question, I knew he was actually going to ask that certain question. Yeah, growing up, it was always good crack between me and my older brother. I'd say, yeah, he was the, so growing up, my dad, my old man always used to, so I had to stop playing rugby because he couldn't go to both of our games growing up. So he gave up my rugby career early on to follow my brothers and support my brother. So yeah, he was always he was faster and stronger.
Is he much older than you? Is he how much older?
He's 3 years older than me. 3 years.
Okay. And does he still play rugby back home or?
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay. Yeah. We saved the best for last. There's no getting around it. Tom Daly has sent in 3 questions that for backdrop. When I had Tom Daly on, Abe was very generous with his questions for Tom Daly. So I think Tom saw his opportunity for revenge and has sent in a few. So there's 3 questions, Abe, to finish off. The first question is it true you've been wearing Samoa gear up and down Shop Street since you spent the
week? No, it's not. Man, I just got back into the country on, what was it? Sunday, and it was a bus trip from Dublin to Galway. Haven't left home. I just went on Monday to get my PCR test, went back home. Tuesday, got my negative test, and then I was in today, so wasn't able to do much.
Did you wear Samoa gear to get the test? That's the big question. No. You're clear. You're innocent. Yeah.
The second question from Tom, is it true that Paul Boyle bounced you in a tackling drill yesterday?
It's a hit piece. It's an absolute hit
piece. There is no way. Nah, I'm joking. That is a lie. But Paul Boyle was a very strong man, and I'm sure he's done it to me. He's bounced me in previous training sessions, and yeah.
Well, Tom did say when he was on that you flattened him in a couple of training sessions. So at least
because I asked that question, I teased him because it was actually fresh. It was actually on that day or the day before. Yeah. So it was actually perfect timing for the question because it will be fresh in his mind,
He said he saw a gap, and then that gap was suddenly not there anymore and was filled by you, and then it was bad news. Last question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
Last question is this one has some weight to it. He asked, did you ask the media manager at Connacht to put up more posts of you?
Oh man, no. He's no, I did not. Sure. I think Steven's our media manager. He's a good guy, and no. I think he enjoys putting all the handsome blokes on there. You know me, and so I always get sometimes if he needs someone, he'll just call me in, and then if I'm lucky enough, I'll get on the page. But no, I'm not one for the for the photos and that. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, so yeah, Tom got his questions in, but it sounds like a lot of lies were made up by Tom.
Yep.
But that's fine. We'll wrap it up there. I can't express how much fun this has been for us to have you on. I know everyone listening at home is going to really enjoy it too. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. As I said, we really do appreciate you coming on. Last question. Actually, I should have said. We have to address, do you like being called Big Papa, or is it just something that we as the fans have made up ourselves?
Yeah, no, I kind of just went with it. I think I don't mind it. I mean, it's It's good crack, and
Do the players
But,
call you it, or is it just fans?
nah, yeah, even a few of the boys, but yeah, nah, it's all
Nice.
good. I don't mind it.
Perfect. Well, big Papa, we appreciate you coming on. And we'll hopefully do it again someday. Best of luck for the rest of the season. As I said, we hope we see you in a Samoa jersey over the next couple of years. And we appreciate you coming on. So cheers, bud.
Nah, cheers. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Wisty. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers,
Really
Abe.
appreciate it.